Okay, so welcome to this amazing session where we're going to be discussing something exciting in the real estate space. And that is the fact that a lot of investors, especially first time investors, always feel confused when they want to make a real estate purchase. And so the question is why? So in the course of today's video, we're going to examine the top 3 reasons why buyers feel confused and how you can avoid such confusion or overcome them if and when they arise. My name is Franklin Bawoga. I'm the creative director at CAE Properties, and I'm happy to come your way with this. All right. So the first thing, going right straight into it, the first thing that makes buyers feel confused is an unclear purpose. And that is, you want to buy real estate. You're sure you want to buy real estate, but you're not sure exactly why you want to buy the real estate and which one you should go for. By that, I mean, you've not established, am I buying this to build? I'm buying it to resell in the nearest future. I'm even buying it to keep for a long time. That's what we call land banking. And so you hear there's money in real estate. You hear real estate is booming. You just want to buy real estate, but you don't have a clear purpose. And so it brings a lot of confusion. And that's, we've seen this happen to a lot of buyers. I have a scenario of a buyer who came around, liked a particular land banking property, and then after a while he comes to the friend, and then the friend why did you buy this place, and you could have bought something closer to town. I mean, for the most part, he loved the first place, but was convinced to buy another place because he was not clear about why he was buying. Because if he was clear, he would have stood his ground and said, I'm buying this place because I've seen this place appreciate in the nearest future. So if you don't want to be confused, you don't want to be tossed, to and fro, you have to be clear around your purpose. So 2 things you might want to do is you might want to choose one particular area and then focus on that area for over a period of time. You can say this period I'm buying things that I'm going to develop and probably rent out or use for short-let apartments, or this season of my life, I'm going to be buying things that are, in the periphery of town, not in the core of the town. And this purpose is for land banking. So once that is done, you know that you're sure. So every property you're buying in that season is what fits your purpose. Or the other way around is that you can do portfolio segmentation and say, okay, I'm going to buy into 3 different portfolios. So this particular one is for land banking, this other one is for land flipping, and this other one is for development. So every time you're buying, you're clear about why you're buying the property. So that's number 1. Number 2 reason why people get confused is because real estate is not like, jumping into a supermarket to buy biscuits or to buy sweets and all of that. They're afraid of making a permanent mistake, because when you buy a property today, it's going to stand the test of time. You want to be sure that you made the right decision. You don't want to come later and find out that your decision was wrong, or your family members are not happy with the decision that you made. Maybe you're about to build a house for your family. You're not sure whether they're going to like the environment and the rest of it. So what's the solution to this fear or confusion? Is that you must actually spend time doing your due diligence. All right. And this due diligence should cover, all right, your objective of buying, should cover your interest, in buying. Do you want something close to a waterfront? Do you want something close to commercial activities, or you want something very quiet? You must be very clear around what you want. And of course, you should run this information about the people you care about. The other part is, have you done your due verifications around documentations? Because sometimes what causes issues is that 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, we get to hear things like, oh, this area was earmarked for this and all of that. So have you done all your due diligence around documentation? Is the area under government acquisition? Does government have interest in the area? You need to spend time and resources finding that out. That's the only way you can be sure that you're not making a permanent decision, because you've done due diligence. I remember when I was attending my Realtors Academy, our coach once said that one of the ways you can actually avoid problems when they come is due diligence. And if problem comes after all the due diligence, it's still the due diligence that will save you from the problems. So you have to, employ due diligence at every stage. This is going to kill the fear of making a permanent mistake. All right. And that's very important. You don't want to regret it for years. And so you're confused. Oh, will there be demolition? Is the documents right? Are the people sending to me right? And all of that. It's due diligence that helps in that case. And finally, number 3, as we begin to wrap up, the third reason why people get confused when they are buying is information overload. All right. For example, you go to buy a property and then I remember one client came around and he came in from the UK and he wanted to buy a particular property. He knew what he wanted the property for, but I don't know why he employed that strategy, right? The strategy was, I'm going to talk to 10 agents. All right. And so he's talked to as many agents as possible. Agent A is saying this, agent B is saying this, agent C is saying this, D. And all of that, 10 persons were just confusing him, right? Because there's too much information. He didn't know what he wanted to go for. Today he wants to buy land. Tomorrow he wants to buy a distressed property that the price is too good to be true. Next tomorrow he wants to buy a building just up and, here and there because of too much information. So information overload can be a problem. And this can stem from talking to a lot of persons at the same time, different pricing for similar properties. This can stem from, social media hype on the property. This can stem from, fear-based news around town and all of that. So how do you overcome this? All right. I'd suggest that, you take your time and then do your due diligence around who to work with when it comes to your property. Because when you're working with someone who is professional, you can be rest assured that you can trust their guidance, in your buying process. So if you have one, at most 2 persons you work with in this regard, it can actually help you make a buying decision easily, without being unnecessarily confused here and there. Because as much as information is good, too much information around the same transaction can be very confusing. And usually what happens, in the case of my client, he traveled back and he didn't buy any. All right. Because there was just too many information and he didn't know what to do and stuff like that. So, I'm sure you got value from today's session. And these are 3 top reasons, in my opinion, why most buyers are confused when they're trying to make a real estate buying decision. And I'm sure you're going to learn from this and avoid being confused in your next real estate buy. Thank you so much. It's been Franklin Bawoga, and see you on our next video. Thank you.